right now, I am standing right behind the City Hall of Iloilo City. Iloilo City was awarded as one of the cleanest urban tourism destinations in Southeast Asia. This video focuses on the beautifully immaculate Iloilo Esplanade. While to call it immaculate is an understatement, it is not only a place to walk, but it's public works, a work of art.
When I first came in 2001, we were known to be the dirtiest city in the Philippines.
A few weeks ago, we released this video. And then 2 weeks after, we did a second cleanup. When we produced these videos, we didn't know if being so political would be a good idea for me, as I am not by nature a political person, nor am I confrontational. But we decided to release them anyway. I did not know that those two videos would be so well received and so important to the direction of this channel. A loyal subscriber contacted me with the idea of going to Iloilo to explore and document the cleanup programs that this subscriber had heard about, which may inspire other cities and towns. I had heard that Iloilo was a clean city, but I did not really know much about the cleanup efforts there yet, because we were trying to build momentum for a cleanup project.
With the PPP, Private-Public Partnership, which we have together with harnessing the support of the city workers, we were able to get out of that tag and become one of the cleanest cities in the Philippines.
What kind of city has like this kind of infrastructure? Everywhere we looked is so clean and sidewalks everywhere. But we just found this place and we fell in love.
And we just started discovering more and more of the city at like every trip we made, and we just fell in love with it even more.
Yeah.
So eventually we decided to move here.
December 1, we moved here and
Yeah.
we haven't looked back. When we pulled in right into the Festive Walk Megaworld, where the airport used to be in Iloilo.
Yeah,
and
diversion.
We were totally blown away. We didn't feel like we were even in the Philippines anymore. Well, maybe like BGC Philippines.
Pull into like a full-on city, we were just like,
And not just a city.
What?
Like a very modern, like especially that part where we pulled into, extremely modern.
This trip to Iloilo became a clear and hopefully auspicious opportunity. Perhaps an opportune chance to discover what the mayor of Iloilo did to clean the city, then bring those ideas back home.
It was difficult at the start, but eventually we were able to educate. We did not really come up with high penalty or something like that, but just pure education. We went to the schools, We would go to the barangays, and eventually people would just want to take care of their city as a matter of ownership of the city. That very important.
I did not, however, expect to discover what I did. Thanks to my new friends Michael and Bianca from the vlog That Philippines Life, who had met with the mayor and were very impressed, which had been an inspiration of this mission.
The quality of the air,
Yeah.
the quality of the water, like the rivers here are crystal clean almost. You can take boats and go up and down them and not see any garbage all along the side of the river. That's not something you generally can find everywhere.
The abundance of nature and the sweeping vistas over the astonishing masonry and stonework make the walkway feel like an open-air temple, serene and meditative. The Esplanade is over 5.5 miles or 9 kilometers long, and all along the way, there are things to see and experience, but there is also a subtle prodding towards internal meandering and contemplative tranquility.
Well, I don't pretend that the entire city is spotless, right? Obviously, but the city continues to progress in the right direction. So every single Talipapa market, whatever, is under full construction right now.
Yeah.
And when they're done, they were all going to be very modern looking. They're almost going to be like a mall, but with the prices that they used to pay to have a stall in their Talipapa. And so it will be very modern and clean and that kind of thing. And so they don't just do one market. No, they said we're doing every single market. They have 12 brand new hospitals coming. And so when they open that hospital, it's in an area that's being redeveloped at the same time. So the roads are getting redone, the sidewalks are getting done, the overpasses are getting done. They actually allow for green spaces. That's really big here. And that helps with the cleanliness look of the place.
Yeah.
So, lots of flower gardens and very clean areas.
My interest in this project was centered around cleanliness, and I was not prepared for the achievement that beheld my immediate gaze. As I stood there and breathed in the refreshingly clean air, filtered by the fresh fragrance of the flowers and plants along the river, I felt that I was in another land, not my home country that I grew up in and have never lived outside of.
We have our street sweepers. We also have volunteers who clean up the beaches.
Wow.
The students, no? Together with the Coast Guard, every week. We have weekly cleanup day, that's Saturday.
Wow.
Everyone in the barangay, including the barangay officials, the 4Ps, the residents of the barangay, clean up their barangays. That's done every week.
In my interview with the gracious Mayor Trenas, I learned that this public works marvel took more than 20 years to accomplish and was a labor of love that has garnished the city with awards for being one of the cleanest cities in the Philippines. He even stated with pride that his waste and garbage management systems won first prize in the country this year. And last,
I just had a scientific survey made, and insofar as garbage collection and waste management is concerned, it's the highest. We got the highest score there, I think 94%.
when I asked for his recommendations and advice for other mayors, he simply implied that if there is a will, there is a way. He beams when he shows them the possibilities.
Iloilo city has shown that it can be done. Everyone will just have to do it their own way. I'm sure that there is no hard and fast rule in doing this, but I'm sure that if it is a priority for the LGU, it can be done.
In Iloilo, it becomes obvious that the answer is pride. The costs are directly associated with how much pride the people wish to have in something they accomplished. Mayor Trenas emphasized that this was not a one-person project.
It is important in the sense that it has given a sense of pride to the Ilonggos of their city, of their locality. And the sense of pride is more important than all the infrastructure that we can have, the wide roads, the Esplanade, the buildings, the restoration of the markets, restoration of the plazas, which we are doing right now. The sense of pride that you see in the taxi driver, in the jeepney driver, in the vendor, in their own city, is, I think, more important than any of these infrastructure projects.
You can't possibly have a modern, livable city these days if you don't have a clean city. It has to start there. And New York City had the same thing back in the 1980s where they had problems where they said every piece of graffiti, every small piece of garbage, everything, instead of worrying about the big crime, we're going to start worrying about the small crime. And now look at New York City, you know, with Times Square, those kind of things. It turned itself all the way around, where it used to be a dive, because the city said, okay, instead of us just chasing just the big stuff, we're going to start chasing the little things. And the little things end up becoming the big things, because small things grow into bigger things, right? If you don't pick up the garbage, eventually the whole place looks like garbage. And we see that in a lot of communities where if somebody in the community is allowed to let their place fall apart, well, then the next person doesn't put as much effort in, the next person doesn't put as much effort into it, and it just snowballs. The next thing into the whole community looks like it's falling apart. And so it's important that you always do it right from the smallest thing so that it never catches on and rolls down a hill and becomes a big snowball.
It took a whole army of workers and volunteers who came direct from the populace of the city. He further implied, no one appreciates the results more than the taxi or jeepney driver who gets to point out their clean esplanade on a daily, often minute-to-minute basis.
We have this program, Clean As You Go. We invested in garbage bins. We have invested in hardworking street sweepers. They start working at 4:30, 5 in the morning. By 10 o'clock, they're finished with their job. They go back in the afternoon to do another 4 hours, but it's a community effort that's happening here. We have dedicated teams that only does planting of flowers along the streets of the city. We also have a dedicated team that only plants trees. As you can see, Iloilo is one of the greenest cities in the Philippines.
We're more apt to throw away garbage if you see other people had thrown away garbage. But if you see it spotless, you keep your garbage in your pocket. because you don't want to be that one.
Yeah.
And there's cameras everywhere.
It's not just about placing trash bins every 50 meters or having cleaning teams of paid workers and volunteers, or about having maintenance governmental programs in place for waste management and street cleaning. It's about pride in the care a populace puts into its complete environment. Nothing is piecemeal. Nothing is spared. All the resources are reflected in the beauty of a place that welcomes visitors and keeps content and happy its people.
The river was not like this before. There were derelicts, there were fish pens. When I first became mayor, I had to push hard for that. The previous mayor allowed fish pens all over the river. And if you have fish pens in the river, then you cause the river to become shallow. So we came up with our ordinances, which did not allow fish pens. We got rid of all the fish pens. We got rid of all the shipwrecks, which were just left in the river, and derelicts that were just left there to decay. Now you have what you see, but that was not what it was before. We bought relocation sites for people who were living in the river. I think in all cities in the Philippines, most of the informal settlers are found in the river. So we have 5.2 hectare relocation site. We have a 15.6 relocation site. We have relocated a lot who were living in the danger zones in the river. And we solved two problems at the same time. We came up with a better river where we were able to plant mangroves and allowed the ecosystem to be alive again. A lot of fish. You see a lot of birds of different species. And we were able to give several decent housing units to several of our informal settlers.
If you enforce the small things, the big things never happen, right? And overall, it becomes a safer, cleaner place to live. And so the curfews are very strict here. When they have a lot of issues at the nightclubs, that kind of thing, the mayor just steps in and says, nightclubs all have to close up to midnight for the whole month.
Yeah.
And that way it makes them take care of it. The businesses will then go, oh, I don't want this to happen again. So the next month, they add more security of their own to make sure that there's never any trouble, no fights breaking out, that kind of thing, because it's in their financial best interest.
Right.
Or the mayor will step in.
I wondered, sometimes out loud, why the people of Iloilo seemed so nice and so friendly. They are soft-spoken people, and their tone touches me like the sweet, cool feel of a gentle breeze on my skin. They take in visitors like me, let us by the hand, and point out with pride the flowers, plants, and trees that have been planted along the roads, banks, walkways of this beloved Esplanade. And when they do that, I can confirm that pride is the greatest of all human emotions next to love. And I want that for my city and our neighboring cities and towns as well.
Well, in order for things to never build up, you have to start really very small. So when you have someone, if you have an area that the public goes to, if the city provides waste disposal, right, garbage cans every 50 meters, for example,
Yeah.
well, you're very, very you're less likely to find people throwing garbage on the streets. But it was a very small thing. It was a very small investment by the city to put a garbage can every 50 meters and have it, because they still have to clean it up. They normally have to pay somebody to sweep it up and put it into a garbage and take it away. Now they can easily pick it up once a week, once every couple of days, depending how busy the area is, by going to every 50 meters and emptying a bin. So a very small thing can actually improve everything overall. Because if you don't see garbage on the ground, you start to look, why is there no garbage on the ground? Oh, they providing garbage cans, fantastic. Also, they keep the streets very, very clean here. You know, they also, you will find, like if you're in the Megaworld, if you're into the Festive Walks, if you're in the downtown quarter, you're not going to find a lot of wild dogs and that kind of thing roaming around, making their own messes, right? And so they are enforced in those areas very well. And I think if you are willing to do it in some areas, then it starts to affect the next neighborhood over, right? So sometimes you can't fix everything, but if you start fixing in one place, then the people that are right beside it go, I kind of want that too. And they start to adopt it, and it just keeps going right through.
I discovered much from this trip, and we want to show you all much more of the city in some following videos. But for now, this video is meant as a small tribute to the Iloilo Esplanade and how it became what it is. It is a testament to the positive forces that are necessary to build anything that brings pride to a city and the people. For a few short days, I got to feel the love and passion in which this was done, and I know that this can be the future of my city and my country as well. Thank you all so much for inspiring me in this journey, and thank you to my special patron who sponsored this trip, and to my patrons who are helping me to make these videos become reality. Thanks to all of you, my subscribers. I never thought I would get to live my dreams, but here I am.